Down in the members' lawn, here's Rob Gaylard.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Presentations, of course, for the Bobby McGee's Maribyrnong Plate, a Group 2 event. Mr. Doug Reid, OAM, representing the VRC, but representing Bobby McGee's, would you please make welcome Mr. Brett Wilson, the General Manager, to begin our presentations.
Thank you, Rob. Chairman of the committee, Mr. Burke, members of the committee, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Bob McGee's at Rydges Melbourne is proud to be associated with this year's fantastic Melbourne Cup Carnival. I'd like to say that Bob McGee's, just like Flemington and the races, is a place where people go to have fun and entertainment. And I'm sure this year's winner, Lady of the Pines, just like previous winners, like Races Edge and Flavour and Sportswork, will go on to bigger and better things. So on behalf of Bob McGee's at Rydges Melbourne, I'd like to congratulate the winning jockey, Stephen King, the winning trainer, Peter Hayes, and I'd like Mr. Graham Little to come forward and accept the winning trophy on behalf of the winning connection. Thank you.
Yes, and thank you. Just seeing that overhead shot from our lightship just really demonstrates to you once again the absolute talent of these jockeys. Lovely patient ride by Stephen King on Lady of the Pines, and look at them sitting there stock still. And that race, of course, all over in a flash, a 1,000-metre race. Beautiful ride from Stephen King. And there is Lady of the Pines, first start winner, the Bobby McGee's Maribyrnong Plate during Melbourne Cup Week of 1996. Beautiful day, family day, a lot of young people around. And Peter Donegan, I'm going really well. I just asked 3 young blokes a little while ago why they weren't at school.
Oh, well, you know, it could be one of those days. I think I was seeing double there for a minute. Yeah, well, I suppose on Saturday it's a good place to be at the races, isn't it, Jen?
It's a much better place than school anyway.
Yes, much better at any time, as I used to. I think I can probably tell a story now that I used to occasionally say that I was going to school and find myself out here at Flemington.
I've done it many, many times. I used to do it.
Sorry, Dad. Now, one thing that overhead shot did illustrate on the third race was what we said before about sports. Jimmy found some trouble, didn't he?
Did he ever? The horses were just laying in and on top of him, and he just didn't have any luck whatsoever. I think you can safely forget that run altogether.
Now, in the fourth, scratchings of 5, 9, 12 and 14, and just checking this riding information because there is a bit of it. Carla Ring is Gavin Eads. Royal Cabin is Dale Short, number 15. 17 is Sam Highland. 18, Sally Wynn. 22, M. Pritchard. And we've still got to get a rider for 23, so I'm just about to dispatch Ray Lindsay to go in there and find out what the rider is for number 23, and we'll find out in a sec. What about the winner?
Well, all the changes, Pete. I've come up with number 6 here, Mellow Chicane. This horse is the likely leader in the race. It was an excellent ride last start by Vlad Jurek. He's back on board here today. Might be able to dictate terms on her. The second, I'll put in number 4, Aphasia. She's back into mare's class. And number 1, Gold City, stuck behind a wall of horses at her last start, and I do think she'll go much, much better here.
Yeah, Gold City at the tip from Letzi and Richard Freedman. And I thought Carla Ring, number 8, each way here in the fourth. It is a tough race, though, and I think you'll be able to get good value here, Dan.
Yeah, except for Gold City. She's the clear favourite in the race, 251.30. No Rose of Portland in the race, but apart from that, Pete, gee, it's a giant field and you've got giant odds. Suma Peace at 17, Macrose at 28, Aphasia 12. 5 out. Mellow Chateau, great value, $17.10 for a last start winner. Central Express, $7.60. Pete's Tip is terrific value too. Carla Ring with the informed Gavin Eads at $13.70. 9 out, 10 Monica 19, 11 Desiree 55. 12 out, 13 Seradeka 15, 14 Double Platinum out, 15 Royal Cabin 19, Palos Verdes at 17.60, and then we're down to Cyrenews at 45, Clever Caper 213, Catrell 28, High Price 110, Belch, Aceline, Icy Slice, the 3 emergencies all gaining a start, and they're at great value. As are the selections from Jen and Pete. They're good each way bets, Pete, and we emphasise to be able to back them each way at the prices they are. Mellow Chateau and Carla Ring.
Yeah, that's exactly the reason that I selected her in the race, because I thought she was value. Whilst Gold City, as you said, Dan, was a very good run behind Rose of Portland, I thought the value was Carla Ring, and Jen's gone for Mellow Chateau at a bit of value too. Well, speaking of value, I think the early punters probably got that with Lady of the Pines in the previous race race, Goss, and I think the bookmakers might have felt that.
They certainly did, Peter. They came very late for Lady of the Pines. There was no money for Sports. Maybe they knew something about the start. Who's to know? But in this, they've made Gold City the standout favourite. The big tip down here, though, is for number 16, Palo Verdes. You look up there on the tote, it's 16 to 1. It is 10 points shorter in the ring. And 4 starts ago, Palo Verdes beat Gold City by 2 lengths. So that might be the tip. Each way, number 16, Palo Verdes down here in the ring, Peter.
Tim Gossage reporting from the betting ring. We're still waiting to get that rider for number 23, Icy Slice. And Tim, I'll pass that on to you with race 4 coming up at 5 minutes after 2.
PD, thank you. May I say you're looking resplendent as usual.
Thank you.
My producer just said for me to mention how handsome everybody looks, and I thought, well, okay, I will.
You've been putting something in his coffee again?
Yeah, I don't know what he's drinking up there today. But we do, of course, and that's courtesy, as you see, Peter's beautiful suit. And this one of Dom Bagnato here in Melbourne, a designer who makes absolutely beautiful suits. They just fit so well and they just sit so comfortably. Right up the top end of Collins Street is Dom. And gee, you know, it's been at least 5 years that Dom's been supplying our gear for us, and we thank him for it very much. We'll take a break. Back soon. Welcome back. There's some more of the terrific photos in the Amy Victoria Derby photo competition. Judging panel includes Amy's Chief Executive Brian Keane and the former VRC Chief Exec 2 Rod Johnson, and they are terrific photographs. And the aim of it, of course, is to capture the spirit, and most of those do, of the Amy Victoria Derby. And the winner is David Gerahies. That sounds like a fine Welsh name of some description. Good on you, David. And have we got David's winning photograph to show you? We have shortly. While that's coming up, just let me do a bit of housekeeping. Icy Slice, horse number 23 in the Matriarch Stakes, will be ridden by Brett Preble. Icy Slice to be ridden by Brett Preble. And there's the photo. Yeah, why wouldn't you? That looks like G Hall to me. David Gerahies, Amy Victoria Derby, and there's the Derby across the top of the photograph. And that was a little competition run by Amy, and we thank them very much for it. Let's catch up with another one of our colleagues out and about with his roving crew, Tim Bailey. See, people don't need any help finding a drink here, I can assure you of that. Some may need some help finding something to eat.
Thank you, Timmy Webster, and that is very important, folks, what you're looking at there. That is a car boot, and it's important because, well, it's amazing what falls out of car boots when you're here at the nursery. Mr. McGowan, look at this. It's wonderful.
I think it's pretty good.
I think it is. I mean...
You haven't given me time to take the plastic off.
No, look, the boiled eggs are a slow mover today, but I tell you what, the oysters are absolutely magnificent, and this is the best way I know to get a free lunch. Thanks for having me. Okay, you've come to the races, and you are very well mannered because you've brought a plate. What have you got in here?
Sandwiches or chicken wings or
What have we got?
like?
No, I'll eat anything at the moment. That's
go and have
fantastic.
a
Ham and pineapple. Beautiful. You could have done with another piece of bread on the other
There
side.
was one, but you mucked it up.
Do you actually see any horses or horse racing
Oh,
here?
yes, we do. We own horses, so we actually go and see a few of them occasionally.
Fantastic.
We
Well, look,
haven't won
thank you
very
very
much,
much.
though.
Have a lovely lunch.
Anyone else want a sandwich?
No, we don't feed the camera crew.
Oh, right, okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.
Famous Flemington, full of Jags, Rollers, Mercs, and of course, high ace camper vans. The full setup. Look at this. You're going to be in here, the Griswolds. G'day, Maxie.
I thought you fellas had finished in here. I was just cleaning up the sink and clearing out.
You have got everything
We
and
have.
the kitchen sink.
We have, and the refrigerator and the stove. We enjoy ourselves out here.
It's all...
And furthermore, we come out every day for the whole carnival.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
What's more important,
Yeah.
Max, a fast horse or a good esky?
A good esky. A good esky, then there's plenty of it, I tell you. Look. Well stocked.
Well stocked.
Even
you're
for
a-
the kids this afternoon. Plenty of Coca-Cola for them.
Thank you very much. Don't mind if
Is
I
it?
do. I think
No?
it's fantastic. You
Good.
brought your home to Flemington.
We always do.
I lost mine here.
Unbelievable. Got a feed and a drink. There's a word for people like Tim Bailey, you know, but I can't use it on television. Racing, fabulous, wonderful racing. Must be a hard game to walk away from. Once it's in your blood, it seems to be there forever, no matter how old you get.
This is the face of racing know-how. It's the face which has seen every champion racehorse in Australia from Phar Lap to Octagonal. The face of humility and of wisdom. This is the face of Angus Armanasco, and he's 84 years young.
I haven't smoked now for 30 years, or 20 to 30 years. And in my younger days, I never drank at all. I'm a very light drinker. Don't mind a whiskey now, but it seems to do me good.
6 times a winner of the Victorian Training Premiership in the 1960s, Angus is still training at the Caulfield base he's made his home for the last 5 decades, since coming from Western Australia.
Most of these are 2-year-olds, none of them raced, of course, but they're all making progress.
2-year-olds have always been Angus's bread and butter, and he's still known as the king of the kids. His highlights include a golden slipper with full-on aces and 3 blue diamonds with Tolerance, Farina, and one of his favourites, Sedative.
The fastest one was Biscay, and the best one was Sedative. He was a wonderful horse, Sedative. He met good horses all the time, right throughout his career, and out of his 17 starts, he won 14, and each time that he was beaten, there was always a reason for getting beaten. It wasn't because he wasn't good enough. He was a wonderful horse.
Angus is also known as a trainer of sires and a builder of dynasties. Many of his best horses were descendants of Star Kingdom and went on to successful stud careers themselves.
All those Star Kingdom horses, they could do anything. They were a marvellous breed. Although he was a sprinting horse himself, Star Kingdom, and most of his progeny were sprinters, but every now and again, for some reason, a reason that it's hard to diagnose, up comes Kingston Town that could stay. But Kingston Town could sprint too. He was a marvellous horse. He could sprint and stay.
As the years pass by, Angus has enjoyed almost as important a role as a witness to the growth of Australian racing as he has being a contributor. The son of an Italian immigrant, he was a leading rider in the 1920s in Perth before weight forced his retirement after just 10 years. He still remembers Phar Lap.
Oh, he's a marvellous horse. He was a marvellous horse. I've enjoyed my life from far back as I can remember. I've been very fortunate. I've always been able to mix with the right people, and whether it's horses or whether it's people or whether it's anything that I've been very fortunate in life, and you know, if I had my life over again, there's nothing much I would want older. I've been very lucky to not have a lot of worries in my life, so I think that keeps you going. And I've got no intention of kicking the bucket for a while.
No, I'll bet. He's looking very hale and hearty. It's the horses. That's what gets in your blood, and you love them forever, as he does. Well, let's just check in quickly with Lynn Talbot while we're doing our quick whip round before the races. Lenny.
Indeed. Well, on a great family day here at Flemington, I'm chatting to a great star of one of our family shows. Now, Hannah Martin, but in real life, Rebecca Ritters from Neighbours. Are you enjoying the day?
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's really fun. It's good for families and everything.
It is indeed. Now, what's Hannah up to on the program? Bit of mischief, I hear.
Oh, yeah, she gets into a bit of mischief. You know, she WAG school, she gets in trouble for that. So, yeah, but otherwise, not too much mischief.
Now, have you enjoyed being a judge today with some of these young junior fashions? It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. It's actually really hard to decide because they look great. So it's really hard to decide.
And we've seen some very, very sweet faces during the competition as well. Now, Tim, we better go back to you because we've got lots happening.
Lenny, we certainly do. In fact, by way of introducing my next guest, I want you to have a look at the race book and this little logo right here. Can you see it? And it's on a lot of the horses, you'll notice. right throughout this race. And the logo, that's it there. That's the one. Belongs to Vobis, which is the Victorian Owners and Breeders Incentive Scheme. And with me from the scheme is Ted Cochran. G'day.
How are you? Good, Tim.
Well, I mean, we went through the race book and were looking for the logo, and we found it in the Maribyrnong plate, which makes sense because it's been a program to give some incentive to breeding Victorian horses, particularly Victorian.
That's right, Tim, and the winner Lady of Pines was bred by Victorian John Hoare.
Yeah.
The whole philosophy of the racing industry here in Victoria is to establish a fund to improve the breed, the raw material of racing.
You know, if you were looking for reasons, not that you need to look for them, that Victorian racing in particular this week here at Flemington is going so well, could well be the answer that you do things like this, because there's a lot of money involved.
Well, I think the new boom in racing has been very progressive. We looked around the world, these breeders' incentive schemes aren't new. There's a huge one in France, they're in Japan. This just encourages the breeder who has a pretty tough time. It's, you know, there's an old saying, if you haven't had a few dead foals,
yeah, exactly,
you really aren't a breeder.
No, that's true. Well, you know, we only see the glamorous side of it when we come to Flemington, but as you well know, it's a whole industry right from when those babies hit the ground. Just tell us quickly as you can how the scheme works.
Well, Tim, the industry puts $4 million into a fund and the breeders add another $1.5 million. Right. And then the progeny of those breeders are eligible for extra prize money. Okay. And it runs as high as $30,000 a race. So added to the normal Melbourne Saturday prize money, we're racing for $67,000.
Oh.
Minimum.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it?
Well, it's better than Hong Kong. It's double Sydney.
And obviously the whole aim of the exercise is to keep breeders in Victoria, well, with an incentive. That's exactly what it says, to keep doing it, because I suppose you lose some along the way that just get a bit, I don't know, weary of doing it.
And to improve the breed, we've had Robert Sangster set up a stud at Ngambia in Victoria. He brought Rory's Jester down. He claims that it's purely because of Super Vobis.
Yeah, well, that's great. Thank you very much for coming in to join us. It's another incentive for racing in Victoria, Peter Donegan, and I'm sure you would think you would be totally behind it if you were a breeder.
No doubt about it, Tim, and it encourages people to get involved in racing, Jan, and well, we've certainly seen the crowds back this year, and if you can get the Vobis scheme, or something like the Vobis scheme in, it just brings more and more people into racing, and that's what we want.
It really is a great incentive to get some new owners. There's no doubt about that, Pete, and it has been extremely successful as well.
Now let's move on to race 4, the Troa Arrow Field Matriarch Stakes, 2,000 metres the journey here. We've got a big field, scratchings at 5, 9, 12 and 14. Lead off with Gold City. She looks a picture.
She does. Looks fabulous in the yard here, and she got held up behind a wall of horses on Saturday and really should have won that race. I think the distance is definitely going to suit her here, the 2,000. She's a Flemington winner over this distance, so she's a definite chance in the race.
There are a few chances here, though, amongst them. Number 2, Suma Peace, to be ridden by Rodney Griffiths, trained by Tommy Harrison and Piersdale.
I thought she put in a good, honest effort at Flemington when she got back, and she ran on after being held up in the straight. Badly drawn here, though, in barrier 19. She's going to need her fair share of luck, and she's dropping 1.5 kilos. That'll help her a bit. There's not that much of Suma Peace.
Number 4 is a phase here. The rider here, Shane Dyed, trained by Mark Connors. Finished down the track the other day in the 10 years behind Fewer Chosen, but back to her own gender here.
That's going to make the big difference, I think, Peter. And if you go back to her Geelong run, she didn't get a lot of room on that occasion, and I thought she went extremely well. She's got to be left there with a good chance in this race. She's very nicely drawn in barrier 3.
You're keen about Mellow Chateau here, number 6. This horse to be ridden by Vlad Jurek, and the Caulfield win was very good, was going away at the end of the race.
I thought it was an excellent win, and she's a leader, and I think she's probably going to lead this field too. She was quite strong on the line there, and if she can dictate the turns, just slow up the pace early and get her own way in front, she looks like she'll be hard to run down.
I didn't think the run of Central Express was all that bad at Moonee Valley, Jen. Stephen King, the rider here, and he's riding in brilliant form, and it did finish in the middle of the field behind Eastern Princess, but I like the way she was getting to the line that day.
Well, I thought she did a very good job because she missed the start by 4 lengths, and she really did run on, only beaten just over 4 lengths as well. Very consistent type of mare in this sort of field, and if she jumps quite well, I think she's there with a chance.
Central Express chased home Carla Ring at Caulfield during the carnival there, and Carla Ring is amongst the chances here to be ridden by Gavin Eads.
Yes, I thought she probably had every chance at Moonee Valley. It was a fairly even effort on that occasion. She's had the one run over the 2,000 metres for 1 win, so that record is quite good. Barrier at 20. She's going to need luck. If she gets it there, she's still there with a chance.
That might be half the battle getting the 2,000 metres here, because it's a query with a few of them. Number 13 is Sarah Deeker and the rider Brian York.
Well, she got back and wide last start on the turn, and she ran on quite strongly. I think the 2,000 metres is going to suit her, and she's not the roughest by any means.
Palos Verdes, number 16, to be ridden by Craig Williams. That is the pronunciation we just found out from Colin Little. Apparently it's a suburb of Los Angeles, and it's got a bit of a hope in the race.
Yes, well, she sat last at Moonee Valley in a fairly slowly run race, and I thought she ran on quite strongly on that occasion. The 2,000 metres does look as if it'll suit her, and she looks very well in the mounting yard, so she's a rough chance.
Milo Chateau for you?
Milo Chateau, I've got her on top from number 4, Aphasia, and 1 Gold City.
Each way Carla Ring for me, but Gold City's going to be the favourite, Tim Gossage, but I reckon they might try a few in this at odds.
They certainly have, Peter, but Gold City, they let the punters on and they've come for it again. It is the standout favourite. There's been specking for Suma Peace, also Central Express, and the one early, Palos Verdes, whatever you want to call it. It was 12 to 1 on the tote. It's still much shorter in the ring, and it's a quiet tip around for Cottrell. I don't think it's got any chance, but there's a quiet tip for it, Pete.
OK, thanks very much, Tim. And Brett Preble is the rider here for 23, and that is Icy Slice. He originally wasn't going to ride the horse because he couldn't make the weight, but now he's back on. So there you have them. They're on their way to the stalls. 19 running here, big field. Back to get the thoughts of Roy Higgins prior to the Troa Arrowfield Matriarch Stakes after this break. Wherever you are around Australia, we hope you're enjoying our coverage of the final day of the VRC Spring Carnival for 1996, and the runners are about to move into the gates for the 4th at Troa Arrowfield Matriarch Stakes. It's over 2,000 metres over by the Maribyrnong River, and a big field here with 4 scratchings, 19 runners, and even though they've got a long straight run to the first turn of 600 metres, you might see a few parked out in this, unless the speed's fairly genuine in the early part, and that's where you don't want to be, Roy Higgins, parked out when you start that turn at the 1400, because if you're out there then, you're out there for a long while.
It's basically suicide if you get caught around the big turn there from the 1400 to the winning post, because it's hard work. It's hard work. This is a very open race apart from the toppy. The top weight Gold City has come up short. Her run here on Saturday was excellent. I can assure you she's trained on. I marked her on top of number 7 Central Express, hard to catch but looks very well. 8 Kalaring and 13 Saradaka. 1, 7, 8 and 13 for race 4.
Thanks, Roy. And a few chances here. Central Express out behind the gates, as too is Johnny Letts over there on banjo, keeping an eye on things prior to the start of this event as we survey the scene from up above. The Maribyrnong River, pretty famous part of Flemington over the years, and they used to come to the races certainly on the Maribyrnong River a lot more than they do now, but they still use it. One man not using it is Gavin Eads. He's using Carla Ring to get around here in the 4th event.
You may need a bit of luck overcoming the wide barrier. The run at Moonee Valley last start was quite good. She probably just out-sprinted over the final stages, which sort of indicates that she probably needs the 2,000 today. I think only had 1 start over the 2,000 for a good win in a stakes race in Adelaide, so she'll acquit herself quite well.
And there is Carla Ring out behind the gates. Just before we go up to Dan and Gary, John Letts over at the starting point, as I mentioned, probably helping these mares, Lettsy, that it's a bit overcast and not too warm.
Yeah, Pete, it's pretty good out here today, and you know, Carla Ring does look very, very well, very relaxed. I did like the top weight Gold City. It looks excellent, actually. Summer Peace look well, but you know, looking at them around the back of the gates here, I'd say the top weight number 1 looks very, very well, very relaxed. Carla Ring looks very well, number 8, and I'd throw in 6 Milo Chateau for 3rd.
OK, Johnny Letts, who obviously had the gear lever stuck in reverse there with banjo, so if you could shift into first gear, Lettsy, that'd probably make it easier to pick up the winner of this race. Let's go up to Dan and Gary.
Yeah, Pete, I'm sure it'd be a good ride though, Banjo. Only wonderful horse to back up for the 4 days. And not that John weighs a heck of a lot, but he does a great job as Banjo.
Terrific.
Big field here, Gary.
Yeah, very big. See, I marked him 4, 2, 1 and 6, Dan.
Plenty of chances.
I've got him very quick here.
Gold City, the popular pick. They're all set to go. Ready for the Arrowfield Matriarch Stakes. Gold City a bit toey. Settles now the favourite. Light is on. Gates crash back and they're off and racing now. Palos Verdes a little bit slow from the outside draw with Syrah and their angle back towards the tail of the field. Mac Rosa first out from Ace Lean and Mellow Chateau goes forward from Desiree. Carla Ring wide was cutting across in front of the field now. Monica was up hand into about 6th spot, and then came Suma Peace and Central Express. Midfield Gold City around Aphasia, followed by High Price Sarah Decker. Behind those was Royal Cabin in the early part. Belch a little bit wide from Icy Slice. Then getting back a bit was Cottrell. Syrah News on its inside. And back to the tail of the field was Palos Verdes. Clever Caper will settle 4th last. At the 1400 metre mark, and Carla Ring assumed control, leads a half a length. Monica goes up to 2nd, and Ace Lean now 3rd. Mac Rosa 4th the rails. A length and a quarter back, Mellow Chateau 5th on the outside of Desiree. 2 lengths to Suma Peace. A length and a half to Central Express, followed by Aphasia. Around it was High Price, and then came Gold City on the inside, the favourite. A little bit worse than midfield at this stage. Clever Caper just behind those from Icy Slice on the inside. Syrah News has gone back to 2nd last on the inside of Cottrell. Sarah Decker was about 4th last. And Palos Verdes at the tail of the field, but only 8 or 10 lengths off the leader, Carla Ring. In a bunching field, 800 metres to go, and Carla Ring leads the mares by 3/4 of a length. Into 2nd placing Monica. 3 wide was Ace Lean, and Mellow Chateau is going up quickly to challenge now. They were followed by Mac Rosa. Gold City still about 5 lengths from them and hooking out, followed by Clever Caper as they turn for home. Belts under pressure, Central Express in about 6th spot. Turning for home, Mellow Chateau, the leader from Carla Ring. Central Express now getting into 3rd from Mac Rosa. Gold City coming at them, and they were followed by Palos Verdes, Royal Cabin, Suma Peace. Central Express the leader, 250 to go. It's a length in front, but Gold City coming at her strongly now, and they've raced away from Palos Verdes and Suma Peace. Gold City hit the front, 200 to go. She raced away from Central Express, Palos Verdes and Suma Peace, and it's all Gold City. Gold City dashing clear to win comfortably. Gold City first, 2nd Palos Verdes, 3rd close between Central Express and Suma Peace. A break then to Desiree, followed home by Mellow Chateau Aphasia. Syrah News next from Sarah Decker, then Royal Cabin, next in Mac Rosa from Carla Ring, Monica, Icy Slice, High Price. Well back in the field, Clever Caper from Belch and Cottrell, and Ace Lean at the tail.
Yeah, great win by Gold City, beautifully ridden by Greg Hall. He just let her get back, let her come into the race at the right time. I thought on a home corner he had the race well in his keep, and I saw him sort of have a little sneak look, and Central Express sit straight to the front, but Gold City certainly gathered it in, and it was less for Palos Verdes to get home late. But here they are here. That's Central Express on the inside. Gold City's gone to it pretty easily here. Draws away. Suma Peace run on well outside, and the one just inside in the red, the gold and black, is Palos Verdes. It gets home really well to run 2nd. Just takes it off Central Express right on the line.
1:16 and 7 hangs on for 3rd Central Express, just in front of Suma Peace. You could see Stephen King, he really thought about it, tried to pinch the brake on the horse that had the heavier weight, Gold City, but look, she was just too classy for them. I think she's a bit underrated, Gary, this mare, Gold City.
Definitely.
She's a class above normal mares class. I don't know where exactly she fits in, but 2000 at Flemington, she's going to be awfully hard to beat, I think, in any race she contests.
Well, that's right. He might step her up class, you know, and go sort of something like the Sandown Cup or something like that if she can stay.
Well, one more stride and she beats Rose of Portland last week, and Rose of Portland's the favourite for the Group 1 the next. So I think that form through Gold City stands up very strongly.
Oh, yeah,
could well be the rider of the Carnival, Greg Hall, and he's with John Letts.
Yeah, Greg, very impressive win today. I think this is one of her best wins, wasn't it?
Yeah, plenty of weight, Johnny, and she's a good mare, this mare. I tell you, she's very, very underrated.
Greg, what do you think? 2,400 metres. What about the Caulfield Cup next year?
Could be a nice race for her, Johnny, because she'll probably get in all right on weight. I won on her here last time she come here, and as long as she's on top of the ground, she's a very good mare, this.
She travelled nice through the run, didn't she?
Oh, she was a sweetheart to ride, mate. She's a bit like you.
And, mate, you know, like 57 on your back, it's no mean feat, is it?
No, it's not easy, as you know, mate. But she won with plenty of authority again.
Terrific, mate. Congratulations on it, Greg. A great ride.
Thanks, buddy.
John Letts there with Greg Hall. He's a character himself, but he certainly is in with a chance of being the rider of the Carnival.
Oh, definitely. You know, he's been riding very well. Won the Derby, and rode the winner of the last on Cup Day. Another winner today, so it's good.
Well, she finished 2nd in the Group 3 Hardy Brothers last week, Gold City behind Rose of Portland. This was an easier option. She still had some weight to carry, PD, but I tell you what, she's come through with it with flying colours, and we're going to watch for her in big races next preparation.
I think you're right there, Dan, and she looked a picture in the yard, and Mac Whitehouse, one of the owners, is with us. Congratulations. You must have gone in pretty happy after the other day.
Yes, we did. We thought she was a good thing today.
Now, the trainer's not here, is that right?
No, he's in New Zealand, Matamata.
Back at work, is he?
Yep, he's at work today.
I was just remarking in the yard before the race, she looked as though the run the other day had done her the world of good.
She's done very well over here in Australia.
Thrilled to win a race at the Carnival?
Yep.
Good on you, mate. Well done.
Thanks.
And Bart Cummings said he was a champion fella too, so he's put a good rap on the owner. So Gold City, the winner. Second placing in the race, going to 16, Palace Virtus, flashing home at the end of the race. And certainly one to follow. And third, Central Express. Fourth home in the race.